It happened. We needed people to rise above themselves, to get past the pettiness, to get past the selfishness, to be bigger than themselves. And they did it. And for me, the microcosm of it, the metaphor for all of it was the frontline workers. What they did. And they are modern-day heroes. I was saying to the people of this state, this is dangerous, stay home, protect yourself, protect your family. And in the same breath, I was saying to the frontline workers, not you, you have to go to work tomorrow morning. In the same breath. And I was saying to myself, what happens if they don't? What happens if they don't? What happens if the frontline workers say, this is dangerous, I'm afraid, I'm going to stay home like everybody else? What would have happened if the nurses didn't show up, and the doctors didn't show up, and the bus drivers didn't show up, and the subway conductors didn't show up, and the food delivery people didn't show up, and the pharmacists didn't show up, and the delivery women and men didn't show up? What would have happened if there was no food on the shelves? What would have happened if there was no one in the emergency room when you showed up? You want to talk about crisis. You want to talk about pain. But these frontline workers, despite the risk, because I had to highlight the risk because I needed people to stay home, so I spoke to the risk, but then despite the risk, I had to ask them. My voice speaking for all of us, please help us and go to work tomorrow. Please show up for work because it's your role, it's your duty, it's your obligation to us. And they did. And they did. I was not comfortable asking. I will tell you the God's honest truth. I knew they were putting themselves at risk. I knew it. And I don't envy any chief executive of this nation who has to order women and men to go to war. I can't imagine how that would feel. I know how I felt. Having to ask our frontline workers, I need you. I need you to show up. And they did. And they put their lives at risk to serve others. And in that moment, they were not black frontline workers. They were not white frontline workers. They were not Latino frontline workers. They were not Bronx frontline workers. They were not Brooklyn frontline workers. They were not Buffalo frontline workers. They were just Americans. They were New Yorkers. They were linked by the commonality of humanity. And the better angels said, get past your fear. Get past your weakness. Don't stay home. Rise up. Be stronger. Be better than you think you can be yourself. Get in touch with your strength and hear that strength. And they did it. And we acted as one. This diverse community of New York, people from all over the globe, different languages, we acted as one. And many of those people gave their lives for us during that time. They gave their lives because we asked them to show up for us, and they did. Let's learn from their example. Let's understand what they did. We see all the success in those numbers and how far we've come. It didn't just happen. People literally gave their lives so others could live. They are the frontline heroes. They are the ones who charged up the hill when they knew the enemy was firing. They showed that same bravery, they showed that same courage. And they did it only because we asked, Not because they were getting paid more money or they were going to get a medal, because they didn't. They did it because it was the right thing to do. They did it out of love. That's what they did. They didn't die in vain. They have changed me. And I believe they have made me a better person by their example and by their lesson. And I will never, ever forget what they did. And I will strive to be half as courageous and half as brave as they have been. And to hear those better angels, and to get in touch with that strength, and to respond from that strength. That's their spirit. Yes, be outraged. Yes, be frustrated. Demand better. Demand justice. But not violent. Not violent. Productive and smart. Act from strength, not fear. Love, not hate. And there is nothing that we can't overcome. We showed that here. We beat this damn virus. And if we're smart, we'll continue to beat it. But the way we beat this virus, we can beat the virus of racism, we can beat the virus of discrimination, we can beat the virus of inequality. If we can beat this virus, we can beat anything. Look at that strength that people showed. You can do anything with that strength. Our leaders may not be as good as the American people, and as strong as the American people, and as kind as the American people. But it's still we the people. It is still we the people. And we the people shall still overcome. They showed us the way forward. And the way forward is to be New York tough. Smart, united, disciplined, loving. Loving, loving. They gave their lives out of love. And we respect that. I'm going to sign a bill today that gives death benefits to the families of all the frontline workers who gave their lives for us. It is the least we can do to say thank you, and we honor you, and we remember you. You gave your lives for us. We will be there to support your families going forward. That's what this bill does. And it is my honor to sign it now. We say to their families, we thank you. We grieve for your loss, and we will always be there for you the way you were there for us.